My name is Jerry Laboranti Jr. I'm from Robizonia, Pennsylvania, and I'm 36 years old. I don't have any formal fabrication training or automotive training. I'm actually a music teacher and a professional jazz saxophone player. A lot of what I've learned I picked up over the years from good friends, fabricators and painters, as well as some old timers who they've been doing it basically all their life. Going to the garage, bugging them, asking them, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I think sometimes that's the best way to learn something from somebody who not only do they really know what they're doing, but they're willing to pass the information along. Hot rodding to me is going to a swap meet and buying a pile of junk and putting something together that's pretty cool that not only looks neat, but also something that you can go 100 miles an hour in. I think the cars that I like to build, the cars that I like to look at car shows, feature traditional hot rods and custom cars. The cars I build use a lot of old original Ford parts that I modify and use in what I call the old way, like they would have done in the 40s or 50s or 60s. One of the neat things about traditional cars is they never go out of style. Over the years, I probably owned 10 cars. Of those 10, I've probably built about 8 of those. I have a 32 Ford that has been in a couple magazines. It was at the Jalopy Showdown Invitational, Rodder's Journal Revival. This past year I raced the car at the Race of Gentlemen, and it was probably one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had in a car. I call the car my time machine, but then I had the opportunity to run and race the car in the sand like they would have done in the late 40s, and it was an incredible experience. There's kind of a funny story with the garage and the workspace that I'm in now. My wife always says that we bought a garage with a house. Originally the garage was a mill for a cabinet maker who owned the property. So when I moved in, I wanted to find a space that not only could hold the cars that I built, but also all the tools and equipment that I used to make these cars. In this shop, I have a bunch of old tools and a bunch of new tools. I think that a lot of the old tools were really built to last. One of the reasons why I like Eastwood tools is I think it's a newer brand. The equipment I think is made very, very well, and I'm able to get professional results. The louver press that I have, I actually got probably about 8 or 9 years ago. I was building a 57 Chevy at the time, and I was trying to, I wanted to do something different in the package shelf. I thought it'd be cool to make one with louvers in it. So I started asking around to see who locally had a louver press. A friend of mine told me there was a shop down the road that had one. So I stopped in and sure enough, it was kind of covered up in the corner, and I asked the guy, I said, do you punch louvers? And he said, well, not really. And so I kind of convinced him to sell it to me. Over the years, I took the cylinder and the dies and put it in a larger frame with a deeper throat to accommodate some larger hoods and some other panels. But the die was from an old manufacturing company from the 50s that just held up over the years. And I think I've punched probably thousands at this point, and it works good. I do deck skins, hoods, anything you can put a hole in. I think in terms of buying a new brand, there's a lot of different folks out there that sell different products. I'd rather go with a brand that I know is going to hold up over the course of time, versus something that you might pay a little less for and maybe only get a year use out of, And the Eastwood products have been not only good quality, but they've just been consistent from one product to the next. I use the Eastwood shrinker stretcher. I have an Eastwood bead roller. And most recently, I purchased the rivet gun kit to put a seat together for a car I'm working on right now. Being a professional instrumental musician, perseverance of learning how to play an instrument and sticking with it, I think is transferred over to building cars. When you're welding a patch panel in, or you're making a frame or setting up a suspension, the first time it might not go so well. But if you persevere and stick with it, you'll get it right eventually. In terms of being able to put these cars together, I think there's a whole wealth of information that's available now on the internet that wasn't available when I started doing it. Kids can go online and they could watch 50 videos on how to do the same thing. So not only, whereas I had to talk to people and go into shops and bug people, learn how to do things, they could sit on their couch and they could watch a couple videos online to learn how to do it. I do see a lot of younger kids, I would say in their late teens, early 20s that are into these old cars. I think the best way for a young person to get involved with this is just to go to a local car show. Find a car that you really, really like, and don't be afraid. Go up to the owner and ask him about it. And 9 times out of 10, the owner will be more than happy to tell you about it, tell you how he built it, where he got the parts from. That's one thing about this hobby is I think that most of the people involved are really friendly and really helpful because it's a process putting these cars together. A car owner or a builder that sees someone young who's interested, I think is going to be more than eager to help them out and to pass the information along because they know themselves how hard it was to put it together. I always have something going on here. I always say that I can't sit still. I finished my 32 Ford Coupe about 1.5 years ago. I've driven that all over the place and had a great time with it. Right now I'm working on a 30 Model A Roadster that's behind me. Ford body, 31 body on a 32 frame. It's got a 57 Oldsmobile motor and an early 40s banjo rear in the back. And I'm going to try to make it look like an early race car style, no windshield, with the tonneau cover. Hopefully should have it done for this summer. I think I kind of refer to this as my therapy in a sense. I always say my analogy is some people like to read books on their porch or plant tomatoes. I go out in my garage and I play around with old junk. I think the neat thing about the automotive hobby is that you can continue to hone your skills and learn new skills along the way. Even though this is a hobby for me, I'm always striving to produce results that are better and better, or more professional. I'm able to get professional results with tools that are priced reasonably and they're accessible to somebody like me who's a hobbyist.